Hi, ladies. We are on Facebook and YouTube as a test because we haven't been able to get on Instagram all week. And so I am waiting to see if we can connect to Instagram and see if we can go live. And if we can, I just want to talk to you a little bit. So let's see if we're going live here on Instagram. All right. Hi, guys on Instagram. Hi, guys on Facebook and YouTube. I'm back. I've gotten some notices from you that I've been missing in action, and I have. I have to tell you, I have been in Italy. My sister and I took a trip to Assisi for the last 10 days. We have had a trip of a lifetime. 10 years ago, we were in Italy on a tour bus, and we traveled through Assisi and stayed there for about 2 hours. And my sister and I said that at the end of before we go to heaven, we want to come back to Assisi. So 10 years later, she and I took a trip, a pilgrimage, actually a spiritual retreat to Assisi. And it was wonderful. We had a great time. But I'm just here tonight just to say hi and just share with you that I'm going to be live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube tomorrow at noon Eastern time. I haven't been on for a while because I've been traveling so much in the month of May. I went to North Carolina speaking. I went to California speaking. I went to Hawaii. That was a vacation that was planned. And then this Italy trip. And so I've been gone. And it's been a wonderful time of refreshing and reflection and just touching base with God. But tomorrow I'm going to talk with you about fear, because fear is the thing that keeps us stuck. Fear of change, fear of not knowing, fear of rejection, fear of making a mistake, fear of disappointing someone, fear of failure. There's a whole lot of fears that we get stuck in. And God tells us He has not given us a spirit of fear, but we live in a spirit of fear. And our world is scarier than ever. And so I want to just talk with you tomorrow. And I'm going to be live on all these different channels, but today we're testing it because we haven't been able to stream to Instagram this whole week. And so my staff asked me if I would do a practice run tonight. So I'm doing that. And so we will see you tomorrow, because I want to know what you're most scared of. So if you could put that in the chat for me, what are you most scared of? If you had to think about what's your biggest fear right now, what is your biggest fear right now in this place that you're at in your life? Some of you are in destructive marriages. If you're tuning into me, you're probably in a destructive marriage or getting out of one, and you're afraid of being wrong, afraid of displeasing God. What is it that keeps you in the grip of fear? Because the more that we're in the grip of fear, the more that we stay stuck, the more that we stay unhealthy, the more that we stay controlled by situations, by other people, by life circumstances. And so I want to really teach you what I have learned. It doesn't mean that you don't feel fear. You do. I was in Italy with my sister by myself. I've never traveled like that by myself, taking subways, taking trains, calling Ubers, not knowing the language. It was a little scary, but it didn't stop me. So it's not that I didn't feel fear. And so I want to talk about, what do we do when we feel fear? How do we move past it so that fear doesn't control us? But what are you most afraid of? I would love to hear that. And tomorrow we'll be back, noon Eastern time. I'll be back, and I'm going to be with you for a whole hour. And we're going to unpack this whole thing about fear. What is it that scares us the most? What is it that scares you the most? Is it rejection, failure, making someone unhappy with you, displeasing God? What makes you most afraid? You know, God has said in the Bible, do not be afraid. And then He says, when you are afraid. So He knows that we are going to be fearful creatures. Because we're human, things go wrong. Because we live in an uncertain world, we can't control external things. Kathy is saying, not being truly loved is her biggest fear. Yeah. And so what is your biggest fear? Because I want to address those tomorrow. And so join me tomorrow on Instagram Live, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live, so that we can talk together about fear. And I have an amazing quote that I captured while I was in Italy about this whole thing about fear. And for me, for most of my adult life, true confessions here. So I'm over 70 now. And I would say for the first 45 years of my adult life, I lived in fear, full of anxiety. And my children actually said, Mom, you have a disease. It's called worst case scenario disease. How many of you have it? That my mind immediately goes to the worst thing that could happen. Like if I found a lump in my breast, I'm going to die of cancer. If my kid's not home in 5 minutes after I've, thought they were supposed to be home by 10 o'clock, oh my gosh, they got in an accident. The worst thing that could happen, my mind always goes to that. It doesn't anymore as much. And when it does, I know how to deal with it. But I have lived in the grip of fear most of my adult life. And I want to share with you ways that I have gotten beyond that. It's not that I don't feel it. It's just that it doesn't control my mind, my heart, and my actions as much as it used to. I'm recovering from it. Yeah, I have it too. I can hear you, Kathy. Yeah. Jessica says, not feeling valued by the people I value. My biggest fear is not being valued by the people I value. And that is, we are ladies and God has wired us to be connected to other people. We want to belong. We long to belong. We long to be connected with those that we care about. And when we're not connected, when they don't value us, or we don't feel like we belong, or we have to compromise and give up who we are in order to belong. How many of you have ever been in a religious organization or a friendship group where you couldn't be yourself? Because in order to belong, you had to believe things that you didn't believe, or shut up and not speak your mind about something because you would be rejected or shunned or kicked out of the group. And that's what fear does to us. It makes us disgenuine to ourselves in order to belong to the group. And so I hope you join me tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Laura, catastrophizing is my fear. I catastrophized everything. Again, my kids said I had the worst case scenario disease. I would always catastrophize the smallest thing. And before I go, I'll share with you a quick story. So one Christmas when my children learned to drive, I was always having stockings for their Christmas stocking stuffers. And in their stockings, I had little hammers. So just in case, if they were driving over a bridge and their car fell into the water, they could hammer themselves out of the window. That's how my mind would work. That the worst case thing that could possibly happen, I wanted everybody to be prepared for at all times. And of course, no one ever used the hammer. No one ever even put it in their glove compartment except me. And I've never used the hammer. But my mind was so full of fear, which affected my body, that I didn't want to, I ruined my whole first pregnancy worrying about what might happen. I might have a miscarriage. I might have a stillbirth. I might have a child who died of sudden infant death syndrome. I mean, it was just crazy. And I don't live like that anymore. And I want to teach you how to move beyond, not never feeling afraid. Of course, we're going to feel afraid, but not being controlled by fear. All right. So tune in tomorrow. I will see you at noon Eastern time on Instagram. I'm so glad we got it live so that we get it to work tomorrow at noon. And I'll be with you for 60 minutes, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. So see you tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.